this is Lori. Welcome to my channel. So right now we're going to be doing poof wreath with the 21-inch mesh. Look how pretty this mesh is. This is beautiful. And you really can make a wreath with just one 21-inch mesh, and it's going to look nice and full. So you're not going to have to cut anything. So this is a really easy one to do because all you're going to do is poofs all the way around. So I usually open up my ties first just to make it easier. So if you're not using a work wreath, you would do 10 ties on the bottom, 8 ties on the top. I like to have 3 zip ties to do this. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your mesh. I have mine on my mesh roller, and you're going to gather it at the end. So just gather it, okay, like that. Then you're going to pick a place. I like to start on the bottom. It's okay if you start on the top, either way. I will take one zip tie, and I will tie it down right before one of these ties. And I won't use that first tie until I come back around. So you just tighten it down. You're not going to see this. It's going to get covered. Now, when you're doing a poof, you want to make sure that these factory edges stay underneath. So I usually just push them underneath like this, and then I make my hand into a little claw. That way I can keep them under there. And instead of measuring, I'm going to go to the first tie, to the second tie, and then back to the first tie. Okay, so that is about a 10-inch poof. Okay, so that's about what I want. Okay, and then I'll just spread it out. See how pretty that is? Okay, again. 1, 2, and back. If you feel more comfortable measuring, you absolutely can. I just don't like to take the time to do that, so I'll just do something like this, where I just kind of use the wreath itself. Okay. Okay, spread it out. And you want it to do all these little curly things, so that's totally fine. So I'm just going to keep going around doing the same thing, and then I'll show you how we go up to the top. So I've gotten back to where we started. So you see there's our zip tie. So now I'm still going to go across to measure, and then when I put this down in this tie, in this tinsel tie, and spread it out, you can't tell that's where I started, okay? So to start on the top, I'm going to open the top ties. I generally move the bottom ties down a little. There we go. And I'm going to take this mesh, and I'm going to pull it to the top, to the closest tie I can find. Okay, so if you were going from top to bottom, it would be the same thing. You would just be going to the bottom. I like to take a zip tie and tie it down just so it doesn't have any little lumps under there. There we go. Okay, So now I want to make sure all my ties are open. Okay. So just like the bottom, I'm going to skip the first tie here. And I'm going to go over to the second tie just like on the bottom and come back to the first tie. Okay, and then spread that out. So same thing all the way around. May be kind of hard to tell, but this is actually lime green and pink. So we're back where we started. Okay, so this is the tie that we skipped. So we're still going to go over to that second one and come back to this first one. And now when I tie it down, you're not going to be able to tell where we started, where we stopped. Okay, so now the third zip tie, what we're going to do is pull this out a little, trim it off. Okay, take this piece, pull it around the back, and then zip tie down. So this just keeps it nice and neat in the back. And then I'll trim off the excess. So most of the time when you do the poof with a 10-inch mesh, you often have to put a third row on it. But with the 21-inch mesh, you really don't have to do that because it's a lot thicker. And so you don't really have to add any other layers to it, right? So you don't have to add that third layer. Just the 2 layers works great. So I just kind of make sure everything is fluffed out, but you can see it really does a great job of covering. So look at that. You see how well that covers? You can't see the frame. If you do see the frame, it just means you need to spread your poof out a little bit. Okay? And it's already nice and full and we haven't done anything to the wreath. So this is a oldie but goodie. It's one of my favorite methods. Okay, so now we are ready to decorate this. This is the sign I want to put in here. You see it has the green and the pink. It has a little bit of black in it. These are the ribbons. Okay, so we have the pink, the black, and the green, just like in the sign. I'm going to use all 3. So I'm going to layer the 3 together. And I'm going to cut them at 12 inches. Okay, so we'll start off with 10 for the bottom. Alright, so this is 10 here. Okay, and I do want to dovetail them. So I just fold them in half, cut towards the wired edge. So we're going to take our 3 ribbons together. We're going to fold them in half, pinch at the bottom, and just kind of pleat them together, so just gather together. And then just kind of get a little bit of a curve under it. Just run your fingers under it. Then I'm just going to go right to the frame. I'm going to tie it. And I'm going to take my ties and I'm going to kind of twist them in on themselves. Like that. Okay. And then I will spread out my ribbons. Okay, so we'll have 3 ribbons. So pretty. These colors are so pretty. There we go. So that little bit of curve helps go around the mesh. So that's why I like to do that. I'm going to do this all the way around the bottom. Okay, so again, tuck my tie in. Okay. Spread my ribbons out. Alright, so that way we can see all 3. So I'm just going to keep going around the bottom doing the same thing. Okay, I've gotten all the way around. Look how cute those ribbons are. Alright, now, I am not going to put a bunch of tails on the top because if I did that, it's either going to cover the sign or it's just not going to really look right. So what I want to do is put my sign on one side and a bow on the other side. Now I might put a couple of tails in, like one above and below the sign, but for under the bow and around under the sign, I'm not. So I will cut off the ties right around or underneath the sign, I should say. Okay. There. Okay, and then I'm going to take my sign and get it ready. So I want to put a hole in the bottom. Okay. And a hole in the top. Then I want to take some 26 gauge wire, about 20 inches, one for the bottom, one for the top. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll put my sign on. We'll make our bow, put our bow on, and then we'll see if we need any more tails. So this way you're not wasting ribbon that you're not going to be able to see. So you don't always have to put tails in every single tie. Alright. So we want to put it right here. Okay. So get our weaving needle. Just our plastic needle, thread it through there, okay, just like we're going to sew something, and then go down right through the mesh. See, and then you can see where it comes out. And then I'll pull it pretty tight and wrap it around the bar. Okay, just like this. Then when I feel like it's tight enough, I'll trim it off and just tuck it under. Alright, now let's do the other side. So see, you wouldn't have been able to see anything under here, so there's no sense in putting something there. Okay, so then we'll put our mesh down through, or put our tie down through here. So right through the mesh. Okay, pull it pretty snug. Okay, trim it off. Alright, there we go. Okay, so it's on here nice. Okay. It's just kind of floating on there. It's not going to move, but it's not squashing anything, so that's really what you want. Okay, now let's make a bow. And we're going to put that on this side, and then we'll see if we need any more tails. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one on the bottom. Super pretty with the little polka dots. Alright, let's do about a 12-inch tail. Okay, so I am going to put it down sideways in my bow maker and twist it. Alright, then we're going to go out to the 6-inch. So you can put your finger there if that's easier, and then twist in the center. You're only twisting it one time to get this side upside down. So wrong side up. Okay, so we just keep doing that. Alright, we're going to do 3 like this. Okay, so 3 at 6 inches. This is just going to be a 3-2-1 bow, which just means 3 loops, 2 loops, 1 loop. Okay. Alright, so on this last one, I'm just going to pull it out and trim it off. Okay, so now we'll go on to the next ribbon. So next I want to put this one in. Okay, so I'll do the same thing. Dovetail it. And this time I can use the tail to measure. Okay, so we want 2 at 6 inches. So I can either use the bow maker or the loop below it to measure. Oh, this is so pretty. I love these colors together. There we go. Okay. Alright, and then we're going to do our Swiss dot last. I love these larger polka dots with the tiny Swiss dots. It's just so pretty. Okay, so we're going to do 1 loop at 6 inches with this. Alright. There we go. Alright, now we're going to grab a zip tie. We're just going to go under one side, pull it up, get it started. So I just like to get the bow started and then just pull it out with the zip tie. So you can see the channel that the bow maker made. So you want to hold one side, slide that zip tie around. Then you can just make sure it's staying in that channel, because that is what's going to make sure that your ribbons are all going to stay the length we wanted. Then I'll grab a pipe cleaner and I'm going to put that under the back before I completely tighten the zip tie. And then I'm just going to make one more check. I just want to make sure that everything is in place, that everything looks good. Yes. And then I can tighten it completely. Alright. I'll use that and the pipe cleaners to hold it while I kind of spread out the ribbons. I like to spread them out first. That way I can kind of get things where I want them to be, and then I can fluff them in their place. Okay. This just makes it a little bit easier. Okay. Now to fluff it, I just go back and forth, just kind of loosening it from the center, getting it nice and fluffy. There we go. You want to do one side and then the other, just so you don't get lost. Because when you're new at doing this, it's really easy to get lost. So with this many loops, it's not that bad, but if you have more than this, then it's easy to get lost. So the more loops you have, the easier it is to get lost where you're going. Okay. There we go. Don't be afraid to pull on them. Oh, isn't that pretty? Okay. So I'm going to trim off the excess zip tie. Okay, and we want to go right next to the sign, so I'll go like right here. Okay, and I'm just tying it right around the frame. Then I'll just twist it a little bit, tuck it in. Okay, all right, now I'll kind of pull my tails out. Kind of refluff everything. Make sure it's still in place. Everything is where I want it. There we go. Just like that. Okay, so then I will run my hands under the 2.5 inch ribbon. And I'm going to curl up the 1.5. So I just like to use my thumbs, but you could use anything. You could use a glue stick. So you could take a glue stick and just kind of loosely twist it around, pull it out, then loosely pull it out. I like to use my thumbs. You can use a dowel, anything that you have on hand. Okay, there we go. There. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so all we need as far as tails go is one here, one here. So we need 4. Looks like we need 4 of our tails. So we'll make 4 more. Put those in. Okay, now we're just gonna fold them in half, gather in the middle, get a little curl. Okay. All right, we're going to put one under the sign. Okay, twist that down. Okay, so I'm just going to spread them out. Okay. Spread them like this. Here we go. There we go. All right, we've got one right next to it. There we go. Okay. Spread these out. If you hear that, that's my dog snoring in the background. Okay. She has a little spot she sits on behind me. Okay. Alright, so then we'll do one here. And the last one right here. Oh, these colors are so pretty. Alrighty. Okay, there we go. Look how pretty that is. Okay, now I grabbed a few little pink flowers with some little green. It also has a little bit of yellow like in the side. And so I'll kind of push the greenery up like this and trim them off. I think this is just going to add a little bit extra. Alright. So what I'm going to do is make a tiny little hook in it like that. And then I can put that in my glue and I can put it right in where those ties are and just kind of clamp it down. We can get a little bit of some flowers in there. Alright, so hook, dip it in glue, and right in that tie. So it kind of acts like a little place to put it in. We definitely want to put some on the bottom. Okay, so exact same thing on the bottom. So you can see when I kind of tucked them down, it almost makes like a little circle, and then you just kind of plop your florals in there. It just makes it super easy. And that is what it's going to glue to, is that tie. Okay. And after a minute, I'll just kind of go and squish that tie a little bit, just to make sure it's going to hold it. Okay. But I'd give it a minute so I don't burn myself. And I'll adjust any ribbons as I'm going, because they will get kind of messed up as you're going around. You don't need a lot, just like an inch or so. You can hear her snoring in the back. Well, I don't know if you can, but I can. She's so cute. Okay. There we go. Here. Okay, so I'll go back and just kind of pinch those for a minute. There we go. Okay. In there. Okay, let's put one up on the top here. So this was just a little wildflower bush. Just super cute. Okay. There we go. Alright, and then one right under here, and then that'll be it. Oh, this is going to be so cute. Okay. There we go. Okay, so pinch, pinch. Just kind of go around real quick and kind of pinch some of them. Just make sure they're holding. Okay, should be good. Alright, let's take a look at it. Oh my gosh, how pretty is that? Oh, that is so pretty. That is really pretty. I love this. See, there's our bow. There's our sign. Look at all the little florals. So it's not a lot. It's just a little to kind of accent and just kind of bring it together. I actually even have one left. Awesome. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. I love this. So make sure to let me know what you think. And like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to know when I'll be going live or when I'm uploading new content. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye, y'all.